Okay, so just an overview of the assignment. Basically what you have to do, you have to run a portfolio and write a report. You've got $1 million, and then you've got to choose between the four major assets, including cash, which is stocks, bonds, gold, emerging equities, and the original $1 million. The portfolio can be adjusted weekly. The case will run from the 6th of January to the 27th of March. So that's Monday when we come back, and that will be the last Friday before the end of the first quarter. So focused on US, this is the US Stock Exchange, and we'll be trading in exchange traded funds. So these are those special units which follow particular markets. In this case we're going to be following particular asset markets, stocks, bonds, gold and emerging equities. So read through the background information I provide. There's some links on Student Central and information around, so I'll talk about that in a second, and decide on the investment style that you will adopt, because probably it's useful to try and do that right at the very beginning, although it's perfectly possible to change halfway through if you really want to do that. Two major styles are passive investment and active investment. For the passive investment, you're going to diversify, reduce the costs and wait a long time. So to do this ideally is not possible in 3 months. We haven't got a long time. That we can reduce the cost because there is no cost in trading in this particular game, and you would mainly be concentrating here on diversifying. So how do you get a diversified portfolio? Probably you have to include all the assets which we have in the investment universe, and you could probably say something about the correlation between those assets in your report. If you do an active investment, there's sort of two ways to do this. The first one is to try to take advantage of news and events and to change the portfolio each week according to how you think things are going to turn out. The second way really is just to set things up in a way which is slightly different from the benchmark, and I'll mention the benchmark in a minute. But for example, if you thought that equities were going to do well, you might have a slightly greater weight in equities. If you thought gold was going to do badly, you'd have a lower weight in gold. So here are the exchange traded funds. They are recognized by their symbols, their tickers. So SPY is the stock market exchange traded fund. It's based upon the S&P 500. TLT is the bond exchange traded fund. That's based on the 10-year US government. Gold is the gold exchange traded fund. EEM is emerging market equities, and cash of course is cash. And the weights I've got for the benchmark here are 40% equities, 20% bonds, 10% gold, 20% emerging equities and 10% cash. So we're going to use that as a benchmark against which to judge performance. Obviously if you have more stocks and stocks do well, you're going to do better than the benchmark. If you have more stocks and stocks do relatively badly, then you'll do slightly worse than the benchmark. The report will be handed on the 1st of May, so we can talk much more about that when we get closer to the date. But just to remember the key information you're going to need for the report as you go along. And the main things probably for the report though are to discuss your portfolio decisions. So how and why did you set up the portfolio in the first place, and then give us some assessment of what happened when you were running the report. The best marks are going to go for those people who are managing to talk about some of the theories and address some of the theories in a critical way. In other words, think about what are the strengths and weaknesses of the theories, and see if your performance or the things that happened during the first quarter tell you something about how well the theories work. That's it.